She ain't there for the ticket sales or the money. She ain't there for the baddies check. She ain't there for the ring check. She there to whoop some ass. Okay, so don't try to befriend her and then don't say her name. If you gonna befriend somebody, tell your opponent by their name. She see that manipulation and that hokey pokey. We all do. Here's two women that might be jumping in that ring with the Holy Spirit on them. One of them is there for money and fame and glory. And one of them is there because this is the sport that they chose for their life. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And you know me, I'm always going to make sure that we all have a clear understanding before the shenanigans goes down. Okay? That's why Zenith said this ain't about ticket sales. This is about the sport that I chose for my life. This is about the unique decision I made as a woman to become a boxer. It has nothing to do with money or fortune or fame. She's saying, I'm coming to tear some ass up because I want to put my skills that I have walked and talked with God for many, many moons about. This ain't about money. And sometimes when you get in the ring with somebody and it ain't about ticket sales and it ain't about money, I'm just saying you got to be a little bit more careful. Because I don't want nobody to be led astray if she get in that ring and the Holy Spirit say, girl, you on your own, and she be knocked down in the first round. And then y'all be looking around, well, like, is God real? Is he real? No. That's what she chose to do. Okay? Sometimes we just join the Holy Spirit in the reindeer games and he ain't for the Santa Claus. Okay? Girl, wrestling is not fake. This motherfucker can probably run about 20 miles without stopping. She ain't over there crying about not eating no sugar. She been wrestling her whole life. Do anybody got some kids in here that wrestled in high school that know what I'm talking about? Oh, y'all don't got kids that did shit in school. I forgot. Y'all don't even go drop y'all kids off at school. You just send them out to the fucking bus. Okay, well, if it's fake, we gonna see on Saturday. Chrisean, don't listen to these people. Girl, practice your round hit, your round hook, your uppercut. You're going to need that uppercut, okay? Somebody said the same uppercut she gave you. She didn't give me no uppercut. She gave me a roundhouse from the back. This ain't no 53-year-old woman she about to get in there with. This a young... And don't take it personal because I went in there and I watched my son get his ass.
The internet didn't just wake up to drama. It woke up to betrayal with a capital B because just when everyone thought the storyline couldn't get messier, couldn't get ladder, couldn't get more chaotic, boom, Karlissa Saffold stepped into the chat like a plot twist nobody ordered and said, yeah, I'm rocking with Zenith Zion. Wait, what? You mean to tell me the same Karlissa who's been in the middle of non-stop chaos, the same woman who's never afraid to speak her mind, just publicly backed Zenith Zion against Chrisean rock? Oh no. This wasn't just a statement. This was a nuclear-level disruption to an already unstable situation. Because let's be honest, this wasn't about picking a fighter. This felt personal. The timeline didn't react. It collapsed. Fans were screaming, "Ain't no way." While others were already grabbing popcorn like this was the season finale of the messiest reality show ever created. Twitter turned into a courtroom. Instagram turned into a war zone. TikTok turned this into a cinematic breakdown with dramatic music, slow motion zooms, and conspiracy theories flying left and right. And the questions started pouring in instantly. Why would Karlissa do this? Is this loyalty? Or is this revenge? Did something happen behind the scenes we don't know about? Because when someone switches sides this publicly, it's never random. And the energy. Oh, it shifted fast. What was already a chaotic buildup between Chrisean and Zenith suddenly turned into a three-way storyline full of tension, history, and unresolved drama. It wasn't just about the fight anymore. It became about alliances, betrayal, and who's really standing on what they say. Meanwhile, Chrisean fans were not having it. The comments were flooded with confusion, frustration, and straight-up disbelief. Karlissa just made it personal, one user wrote. Another said, this is messy on a whole new level. And honestly, They weren't wrong, because when someone publicly chooses your opponent, that's not shade. That's a statement. But here's where it gets even more dangerous. Karlissa didn't just quietly support Zenith. No, the way she delivered it. The tone, the confidence. It felt intentional. Like she knew exactly what kind of reaction this would cause and still went through with it anyway. And that kind of move. This situation didn't just pop out of nowhere like a random headline. Nah, this was years of tension, messy history, side eyes, and unresolved drama just waiting for the right moment to explode. And the second Karlissa Saffold publicly backed Zenith Zion over Chrisean Rock. That moment finally arrived with full cinematic impact. Now let's rewind, because this storyline didn't start with a fight announcement. This goes way deeper than gloves and rounds. Chrisean and Karlissa have had a relationship that can only be described as chaotic with a side of unpredictable. One minute it's tension, the next minute it's calm, then suddenly it's back to drama like nobody hit pause. It's been a roller coaster where nobody knows what the next turn looks like, and the internet. Oh, the internet has been watching every second of it. Every argument, every subtle jab, every uncomfortable moment has been documented, analyzed, and replayed like a highlight reel of chaos. Fans didn't just observe, they kept receipts. So when Karlissa made this bold move, people didn't see it as random. They saw it as a continuation of a long, messy storyline that never really got resolved. Meanwhile, Zenith Zion entered the picture like a completely different type of energy. She wasn't tied to the past drama. She didn't carry the same emotional baggage. Instead, she showed up with focus, discipline, and a calm presence that stood in direct contrast to everything surrounding Chrisean's world. And that difference, oh, it stood out immediately. Fans started noticing the shift before Karlissa even said anything. Subtle interactions, small acknowledgements, the kind of moments that seem insignificant until you connect the dots later. People were already whispering, already speculating, already questioning whether alliances were quietly forming behind the scenes. Because in situations like this, nothing is ever just coincidence. Then came the build-up to the fight. At first, it looked like your typical influencer boxing promotion. A little hype, a little trash talk, some back and forth to get people interested. But the second Chrisean started throwing shade, especially that viral boxing uniform comment, everything escalated faster than anyone expected. The internet locked in. Fans picked sides instantly. Team Chrisean brought the loud energy, defending her confidence, her presence, her ability to dominate a moment before even stepping into the ring. Meanwhile, Team Zenith leaned into discipline, patience, and the idea that actions would speak louder than words when it mattered most. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Karlissa didn't stay neutral, and that's what made everything explode. Because if there's one thing Karlissa is known for, it's speaking her mind without hesitation. She doesn't tiptoe around situations. She doesn't sugarcoat. And when she decides to say something publicly, oh, it's intentional. So when she stepped in and openly supported Zenith, it wasn't just support. It was a message, and the timing. Suspiciously perfect, right when tensions were already high, right when fans were deeply invested, right when the storyline was reaching peak attention. It felt less like coincidence and more like a calculated move that added fuel to an already raging fire. The reactions came instantly. Fans were confused. Some were shocked. Others weren't even surprised. They were like, yeah, this tracks, because if you've been following the history, you already know the relationship between Karlissa and Chrisean has never been simple. Comment sections turned into chaos. Why would she do that? This is personal now. She's picking sides on purpose. And honestly, all of those reactions made sense, because when someone with history steps in and publicly chooses your opponent, it changes everything. Now it's not just about the fight. It's about loyalty. It's about respect. And most importantly, it's about how you respond when someone from your own circle appears to switch up in front of the entire world. Meanwhile, Chrisean hadn't fully responded yet. And that silence, it made everything louder. Because just like before, when she threw that viral shade and Zenith stayed quiet, now the roles felt slightly reversed. People were waiting, watching, refreshing their feeds like something major was about to drop at any second. And Zenith, she didn't need to say much, because Karlissa's support already shifted the narrative in her favor. Suddenly, she wasn't just the opponent anymore. She became the one gaining unexpected backing, the one benefiting from a public endorsement that nobody predicted. And that kind of shift, it changes the entire energy of a situation. Because now, this isn't just two fighters stepping into a ring. It's a storyline filled with history, tension, alliances, and unresolved emotions all colliding at once. And the scariest part, this is still just the beginning, because when lines are drawn this clearly, somebody is going to cross one. And when that happens, everything gets even messier. And just like that, the situation didn't just escalate, it completely spiraled into a level of chaos nobody could control anymore. The moment Karlissa Saffold publicly backed Zenith Zion, the internet flipped the script instantly. What was once a two-person storyline suddenly turned into a full-blown three-way drama with layers, tension, and emotional landmines everywhere. It felt like someone added gasoline to an already burning fire, and then threw a match just for entertainment. The reactions, oh, they were loud and non-stop. Social media turned into a battleground where every comment felt like a punch thrown without gloves. Fans were arguing like their personal reputations were on the line, defending their favorites with essays, threads, and full breakdown videos. One side screamed betrayal, the other side screamed truth, and the middle. There was no middle anymore. You were either Team Chrisean or Team Zenith, and Karlissa had just forced that division into overdrive. Then came the memes. And not the friendly kind. People were editing clips, creating fake interviews, and reenacting moments like they were producing their own reality show episodes. TikTok turned this entire situation into a cinematic universe with dramatic voiceovers, slow-motion edits, and wild theories. Some users even acted out Karlissa's decision like it was a WWE heel turn, complete with crowd reactions and plot twist sound effects. The internet wasn't just watching. It was directing the drama. But behind all the jokes and viral edits, the tension was getting heavier, because this wasn't just funny anymore. It started to feel personal on a whole new level. Fans began digging into past interactions, pulling up old clips, resurfacing moments that suddenly looked suspicious. Wait, she's been feeling this way. Nah, this been brewing. The narrative started shifting from surprise to suspicion, and that made everything even messier. Meanwhile, Chrisean Rock wasn't moving quietly. Her energy stayed loud, confident, and borderline explosive, like she refused to let anyone control the narrative around her. Every move felt intentional, like she was daring the situation to get bigger. But now, instead of just dealing with Zenith, she had to process Karlissa's public stance too, and that added a whole new layer of pressure. On the other side, Zenith's energy stayed calm, but sharper. She didn't need to do too much, because the support she received already spoke volumes. Her presence started feeling stronger, more calculated, like she was letting everything unfold while staying locked into her focus. And that contrast, it drove the audience crazy. Loud chaos on one side, quiet confidence on the other. It was like watching two completely different storms forming at the same time. And then, the celebrity reactions started creeping in. Not always direct, not always loud, but enough to keep the situation boiling. Influencers dropped subtle comments, reaction pages posted clips with captions that added fuel, and suddenly everyone had an opinion. This is messy, one said. Nah, this is strategic, another argued. The conversation stopped being simple and turned into a full debate about loyalty, respect, and public image. Fan bases clashed hard. Comment sections turned into war zones where nobody backed down. People were quoting past situations, bringing up old drama, and connecting dots like detectives trying to solve a case. It wasn't just about who said what anymore. It became about history, emotions, and unresolved tension that had been sitting quietly for too long. And once that kind of energy gets unlocked, it doesn't go back in the box. Then came the contradictions. Old statements didn't match new actions. Past support didn't line up with current decisions. Fans started questioning everything. So what changed? Why now? What aren't we seeing? The deeper people looked, the more confusing it became. It felt like there was a hidden layer to this situation that nobody fully understood yet. But everybody felt. And just when the internet thought it reached peak chaos, the tone shifted again. Because suddenly, it wasn't just entertainment anymore. It started to feel real. Like this fight wasn't just for views or hype. People began saying, nah, this might actually get serious. The laughter slowed down, the curiosity increased, and the anticipation. It went through the roof. Because now, it wasn't just about who was louder or more viral. It was about who was ready. And in situations like this, that answer isn't always obvious, because while one side controls the spotlight, the other side might be controlling the outcome. And just when it felt like the chaos couldn't climb any higher, everything took a turn that made the entire situation feel heavier, sharper, and way more personal than anyone expected. Because now, this wasn't just about opinions, reactions, or viral clips anymore. This was about consequences. The kind that stick. The kind that follow you long after the cameras stop rolling and the comments slow down. And right in the middle of it all, Karlissa Saffold, Chrisean Rock, and Zenith Zion locked into a storyline nobody could rewind or edit anymore. The emotional fallout hit differently at this stage. Fans who were laughing earlier suddenly found themselves questioning everything. Was this always building? Did we miss signs? The vibe shifted from entertainment to investigation. People started going back, replaying old moments, rewatching interactions, trying to pinpoint exactly when things went from messy to meaningful. And the more they looked, the more it felt like this wasn't just a sudden explosion. It was a slow buildup that finally cracked under pressure. Chrisean's position. Complicated, because on one hand, she still had that loud, confident energy that made her dominate every conversation. But on the other hand, this situation hit closer than a typical online feud. This wasn't just a random opponent talking slick. This involved someone with history, someone who had been part of her orbit, now publicly standing on the opposite side. And that kind of shift, it doesn't just sting, it lingers. Meanwhile, Zenith's presence kept evolving. Still calm, still focused. But now there was something stronger behind it, a sense of validation. Karlissa's support didn't just boost her visibility. It changed how people viewed her role in the entire situation. She wasn't just the challenger anymore. She became the one gaining unexpected momentum, the one people started watching more closely. And that quiet rise, it made everything even more unpredictable. Then came the conversations about loyalty. And those got messy. People started debating what loyalty even meant in this situation. Was Karlissa wrong for choosing a side publicly? Or was she simply standing on what she believed? Some argued that relationships come with expectations, that certain lines shouldn't be crossed no matter what. Others pushed back, saying nobody is obligated to blindly support anyone if they don't agree with them. The debate didn't just stay online, it turned into a full cultural discussion about respect, boundaries, and public behavior. And just like that, the drama leveled up again. Because now, it wasn't just about a fight. It was about principles. It was about perception. It was about how every move gets judged when the entire world is watching. And then came the shift nobody saw coming, a subtle one, but powerful enough to change everything. Zenith started revealing just enough to flip the narrative. Not loud announcements, not dramatic speeches, just controlled, deliberate moments, training clips, focused expressions, glimpses of preparation that spoke louder than any online argument. It was the kind of content that made people pause mid-scroll and say, wait, this might actually be serious. And just like that, the energy tilted. People who were once laughing started getting quiet. Not completely silent, but cautious, observing, rethinking their assumptions. Because suddenly, this didn't look like a one-sided situation anymore. It looked like a real clash waiting to happen. Meanwhile, Chrisean didn't retreat. She stayed bold, stayed visible, stayed exactly who people expected her to be. But now, that energy came with pressure. Because when the other side starts showing discipline and consistency, chaos doesn't automatically win anymore. It has to prove itself. And that's where things got intense, because both sides were now locked into their roles. One loud, fearless, and unpredictable, the other calm, focused, and steadily gaining respect. It was like watching two completely different strategies moving toward the same moment. And nobody knew which one would break through. Then came the whispers, not loud enough to confirm anything, but strong enough to make people question everything. Talk of behind-the-scenes tension, hints that there was more going on than what was visible. Questions about timing, motives, and decisions that didn't quite add up. The kind of conversations that don't explode immediately, but slowly build until they can't be ignored. And the more people paid attention and trust whatever comes next, it's not just going to shake the internet. And just like that, what started as a simple opinion turned into a full-blown drama saga with twists, tension, and enough chaos to keep the internet awake all night. One move from Karlissa's scaffold flipped the entire narrative. And now everybody's sitting here like detectives trying to figure out who's real, who's strategic, and who's about to shock us next. So now it's your turn to jump in. Don't just sit there scrolling like this didn't just turn into a reality show episode with no script. Head straight to the comments and let me know, was Karlissa right for backing Zenith? Or did she just cross a line that can't be uncrossed? Are you riding with Chrisean Rock's bold energy? Or are you trusting Zenith Zion's calm, calculated approach? Pick your side and stand on it, because that comment section is about to get loud. And don't forget, smash that like button like it owes you money, like it just switched sides on you, like it just sparked chaos in your group chat. Hit subscribe right now, because if you think this drama was wild, you already know something bigger is loading. And trust me, you do not want to be late when the next twist drops. Turn on those notifications so you stay locked in every single time the story shifts. Because this situation, it's moving fast, unpredictable, and every new update feels like a plot twist nobody saw coming. 1 minute it's calm, next minute it's chaos. Blink once and you're already behind. And over here, we don't just watch drama. We break it down, amplify it, and bring it to you louder, messier, and more entertaining than ever. This is Fame Flaws, where the drama hits harder, the tea spills faster, and the story, oh, the story is always just getting started.